So today's show, we're going to break down. We're going to do our lane analysis out there. We're going to be doing some article breakdowns, and we're going to dive right in here because your boy's got a lot of freight moving today, and I got a lot more cold calls to make today as well. So today, you guys, we're going to dive into This Week in Freight, powered by my friends over at DAT. If you want your lane broken down on the show, I need you to email my team, podcast@thefreightcoach.com. This is 100% viewer submitted, okay? So today is a drive-in, and it is going to be out in Ontario, California, going to Dallas, Texas. Now, as a lane that we personally run, and we're running as of last week, I couldn't tell you how you could say refreshing, but almost it's not, in the sense of how these lanes, and primarily the Los Angeles market, how they, when capacity tightens up like it has, and it's just a little bit, carriers are a little bit more choosy on the freight that they want to run. It's amazing how it reverts back to how it was when I first started moving freight, 15 plus years ago now, how it's like early, like I cannot stress this enough. If you're moving freight on Friday in the Los Angeles market, book early. Do not wait. Do not hold on. It will always get more expensive out there. We ended up booking it dang near very similar to what you're seeing out here right now. And all I'll say is I'm glad I took that one, because we got more calls throughout on some people, and it was like $2,000 more, $3,000 more as the day kind of progressed out there. But when we're going and we're assessing any of these lanes, obviously miles is the first thing I look at, you guys. So we got 1,400 loaded miles on this. This is a great Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday pickup, or a Friday pickup. Thursday to Monday, that's when you're going to see an exponential price increase out there. How do I know? I just went through that. And that's where we were seeing those couple $1,000 swings out there. But, when you're looking at that, that's the first thing you want to pay attention to. With this in particular, this lane is only going to get higher as the summer months progress, because this is peak season out there. And over the summer, it's like the busiest time in most markets. And we're seeing a lot of that in a lot of the markets across the United States right now. Not every single market, but the majority of those major markets that you've seen in the past, this is where those are going to be affected here. And from pricing perspective, this is only going to go up. All right. I'm not going to, and I'm saying that from this standpoint and this standpoint only, you guys. I move this lane. All right. Very similar lanes within like 100 miles of Los Angeles, going to within 50 miles of Dallas, Fort Worth. And the swings that you can see on this are like, I think that's where you see everybody complaining on social media with where rates are and why carriers quote what they quote. It doesn't offend me anymore. It used to early on in my career, but this lane in particular, we got it booked for very similar to what we're seeing here. And it was a swing of like $2,000 is what I had seen on that one. And that's the quotes that we were getting in there. And it's one of those ones, you guys, book early on this. And especially if you get that right truck for it, don't hold out. Like, I know it's painful. All right. I know it's painful when you're going in there and you're seeing your margins get compressed, or maybe you quoted this load a couple of days ago and capacity is different, right? Like, things change at a rapid pace right now. And I just had this conversation this morning with a customer of mine because they wanted me to commit to some volume out there. And, it's a decent amount of volume, but I told them, I'm like, I can't give them a set rate. I wish I could. I can't do that right now because there are so many volatile swings that can happen that I would be doing them a disservice. And you have to be willing to have these conversations with your customer in any market, but especially right now, especially in some of these ones where it can rapidly change overnight throughout the day. And that's one thing in the state of California. We'll just go Thursday, Fridays. If you don't book that truck early, I'm not going to say you're not going to find the rate that you're looking for. More than likely, it will only get more expensive as the day progresses. And this lane in particular, it's probably going to have a 5 in front of it within the next couple of weeks. I hope this lane pops back up because the outbound California markets, primarily LA, is one of my favorite ones because it is definitely one of the more volatile markets that are out there when capacity tightens up and rates increase because there's so much freight that is moving inside of those markets. I wouldn't be surprised if post 4th of July, that's like this lane's moving for a minimum of $5,400 plus because diesel is not going down in the state of California, and that's always going to be the main driver that a lot of the carriers are going to be looking for out there. So this lane, there's always going to be capacity for it. It's just not going to be what you might want to pay. So book that truck early. Talk to your customers about this. If you can get a short-term rate commitment, whether it be a couple weeks, maybe a couple, like no more. I wouldn't even do it more than 2 weeks, to be honest with you. And I'm not just saying this to try and deter you guys. I'm just literally telling you guys what we do inside of our operation. It's the only way to really navigate through this, because at the end of the day, customers need their freight to move. Nobody wants to deal with that stuff, but they need a real partner to come out there.